Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. And welcome to a Sunday morning. On a Sunday, our meditation is always a more quiet one. I will speak a little bit less, and we will share a silent space together. Our teacher for this week has been Charles Eisenstein. So we got one more share from Charles Eisenstein. Danae, good morning. Hello. Happy Sunday. Somebody, very good morning. We live in a world obsessed with action, a desperate need to always be seen doing, and yet our constant busyness seems to primarily result in never enough. Never enough of anything. Never enough time, never enough money, never enough acceptance, never enough stuff. Our lives become controlled by lists, goals, and productivity hacks. The constant pressure to do something can leave us feeling burnt out and perpetually one step behind. But what if the key to real progress lies not in frenetic activity, but in cultivating stillness? A few thoughts from Charles Eisenstein. He says, "From our immersion in scarcity arise the habits of scarcity. The more we are immersed in and trapped by thoughts and fears about scarcity, the more we build habits out of scarcity. From the scarcity of time arises the habit of hurrying. From the scarcity of money comes the habit of greed. From the scarcity of attention comes the habit of showing off. From the scarcity of meaningful labor comes the habit of laziness. From the scarcity of unconditional acceptance comes the habit of manipulation." He says, "I am saying that there is a time to do and a time not to do. And that when we are a slave to the habit of doing, then we are unable to distinguish between them." Beautifully said, and that sounds so much like the Serenity Prayer. There's a time to do and there's a time not to do. But when we are a slave to the habit of doing, then we don't have access to the wisdom of knowing the difference, when to do and when to not. As a society, we have worked ourselves into a corner of fear from where we are reactively doing. The compulsion to act without having a deep understanding is what creates our hurrying, our greed, our manipulation. Without wisdom, our compulsion of doing creates and recreates the same old problems again and again. Another thought from Charles Eisenstein is, "The situation on earth today is too dire for us to react from old habit, to reenact again and again the same kinds of solutions that brought us to our present extremity. Where does the wisdom to act entirely in new ways come from? It comes from nowhere. It comes from the void. It comes from inaction. When we see it, we realize this wisdom was right in front of us all along. It is never far away, yet at the same time, it's in a different universe, a different story of the world." What he's saying is, when he speaks about the void, that nothingness has been taught for thousands of years. And that void, that nothingness, where he says where the wisdom comes from, is what we have more and more access to when we find comfort in silence. Last thought, he says, "Here's another paradox. We become better people only when we give up the quest to become better people. The solution is not to try harder, but try softer. Seek out the void, the silence, the nothingness from where you can practice being the observer. Be patient, give it time, and from observing will come seeing. And from seeing, we realize where our action will be helpful and where it won't. It's absolutely a paradox, yes. But if you want to be more effective, you have to first stop trying and just observe. When you react from a place of scarcity, your energy is spent reinforcing the habits of scarcity. Become the observer and your actions will be inspired from clarity. This is where wisdom comes from. So if you're ready, let's dive into today's silent space together. You can close your eyes, and we'll start with the first few big breaths. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale and let it go. Deep breath in and out. One more big breath in and let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine. Lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine. Slump down your shoulders and even drop your head. Continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And as you release, allow a collapse to happen. Soften your spine, soften your shoulders, drop your head. Here's what happens in this void, in this silent space. We get confronted with our busy minds. We get confronted with the busyness of our thoughts. And perhaps we've been in a habit of acting from those busy thoughts. Letting the first thoughts that pop into our mind control our actions. This is what Charles Eisenstein speaks about when he says, we can't afford to keep repeating the same old patterns, the same old solutions. We need to find the wisdom that leads us to new responses. And that's where silence leads us. Because at first we get confronted with our busy thoughts. And if we don't do anything about these busy thoughts, if we don't act on them, if we take a step back and observe, then we very quickly come to learn how these thoughts have been controlling us. How these frenetic thoughts have been causing us to act and react. And if we hold back a little bit longer, just watching these thoughts, we start realizing that we don't have to act on them at all, because they'll come and go regardless. And the better we get at hanging back a little longer, the better we get at realizing in our lives when we are caught up in these busy thoughts. The easier it becomes to just not engage these busy thoughts. And if we can let these busy thoughts just pass on by more and more, we realize there's a deeper level to us. A silent space already available underneath all of the busyness. A space in which we have time to understand whether there is action to take here or not. Here is our space to practice stepping away from the busy thoughts, realizing every time we get hijacked by the busy thoughts, which happens often. We are human after all. And practicing just putting them down again and again. So every time in today's meditation that you realize you're getting hijacked by busy thoughts, just return your attention back to the breathing, whichever part of the breathing you're doing. Feel the breath, feel your body, come back inside. We have the last few breaths of this phase to do together. I've spoken through all the silence today. Let's help our bodies stretch, adjust, and settle down. Take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward. Roll out your neck muscles, forward and to the left, forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left. Lean your upper body over to the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least becoming as present as we possibly can be, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips into your body and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, See if you can find a deep softness, a deep relaxation within yourself in every breath hold. Take as many easy breaths as you need between your breath holds and come back to that soft inner space again and again. Notice that there is a quietness you can slip into even when there might be busy thoughts on the surface. And when you realize your thoughts have been hijacked, try and put them down, but bring your focus to your next breath and how it feels to soften into your body. I'll check in with you at the end of this phase. Take your next big breath. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a long, slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. as you release, feel how softness slips in and settles in every cell of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. And I'll read to you again quickly just 2 thoughts from Charles Eisenstein. He says, "From our immersion in scarcity arise the habits of scarcity. From the scarcity of time arises the habit of hurrying. From the scarcity of money comes the habit of greed. From the scarcity of attention comes the habit of showing off. From the scarcity of meaningful labor comes the habit of laziness. And from the scarcity of unconditional acceptance comes the habit of manipulation." He says, "Where does the wisdom to act in an entirely new way come from? Where does the wisdom come from to act in a different way than the old ways we've acted before?" He says it comes from nowhere. It comes from nothingness. It comes from the void. It comes from inaction. It comes from our ability to take a step back from what our old thoughts, our old habits are trying to get us to do, and give ourselves the time to just see how these old thoughts play out again and again. And then we see it. Then we realize it was right in front of us all the time. This wisdom is never far away, yet at the same time it is in a different universe. It is in the space we get to slip into in silence. There are a few more minutes left, and I'll check in with you at the end of this space. Enjoy your silence. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for sharing your silent space with us. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning, seeing how things unravel and come together in this space of silence. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for all the clarity that slowly becomes clear in this silent space. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for sharing that space together with us. It is a privilege to be sharing in your silence too. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for being in our space together. Thank you, somebody. Thank you, Danae. Wishing you a beautiful Sunday. It's a very rainy Sunday here. I love hearing the rain all around me in this silent meditation. Have a beautiful day. And if you're ready, we'll jump into the week right here tomorrow. Ciao, ciao.